Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Randall Brown. He is the president of Soundproof Windows. And one of the reasons I'm inviting him to talk to us today is that many of us consumers have too much noise in our lives. And we're trying to solve problems with sound that's being generated around us. Many of us in homes and places of business are using antiquated technology and antiquated ways of dealing with it. And Randall's going to talk to us today about an idea whose time has come with regard to dealing with sound. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Randall Brown to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling me.
My pleasure. Talk a little bit about the existing technology. How did you get into the soundproofing business, and what did you discover that is allowing you to prevent noise in people's environments?
Back in 1998, I lived in a house that had a noise problem. Overlooked a freeway, 8 lanes with a commuting train that went between it, and I thought I wouldn't have any problem sleeping or dealing with that. And when I decided it was a problem, then it caused all kinds of problems because I couldn't solve it. And I finally figured out how to do that because I had been involved with the window company before through my father, and solved my problem. And then a bunch of my friends said, "Hey, I want that, and I want to do that." And so I ended up starting the business with my brother-in-law at the time. Because I had a day job I couldn't quit. And so we started solving the problem and doing it from that point forward.
What was the discovery that you found?
Most people seem to think that if they have single pane, one single glass windows, that if they get the dual pane windows, it's going to make it quieter. And actually it doesn't. It's actually noisier to move to a dual pane from a single pane. Now, your listeners will probably think, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And it's true, it doesn't make sense, and there's an exception to that. If you got single pane windows from 1950 and they leak like a sieve, and you replace it with a dual pane window, it will be quieter because the other ones leaked all the noise in. But a dual pane window, double glass window by itself, kind of acts like a drum. Stretched drum, so if you beat on one side, you may as well be beating on the other side. So neither one stop much noise. They're designed to insulate rather than to stop noise. The best way to handle it is to handle the noise is to add a second window, usually on the inside. To add a second window, and this can actually substantially reduce the noise.
Somewhere on your site, you said that the great percentage of noise does not come from or through the walls, but through windows.
That's correct. In 90% of the cases or more, the noise problem most of the noise comes through the windows rather than the walls or even in most cases, even the doors. With noise, whatever is your weakest link is where the noise comes through. And then if you plug that noise leak, if you will, then it'll come through the next noise leak. So your windows are almost all, in every case, your windows are going to be your worst scenario. So if you get your windows quiet, then you'll find out how good your walls may be or how bad they might be, or if your doors need to be replaced. But typically, you can make the biggest improvement just by doing something for your windows.
Did you find that there are very few competitors out there doing what you're doing because their view of handling the sound is one of insulation and not stopping the noise?
Yeah, I have virtually no competition, or the competition I do have is the proverbial type of competition you love to have, that they charge more money and don't do the job even nearly as well. Most window companies, all they have are windows that insulate, and they don't know much about noise. Noise can be a weird science that doesn't lend itself to being logical. And so, for the most part, if you call a regular window company and say, I have a noise problem, their answer is, oh, well, our newest window that's this dual pane window that's real good at insulating is your best choice. Well, it's not. It requires to stop very much noise. You need a 2-window system, and you need, and it's not just a 2-window system like, oh, we'll go down to Home Depot and get another window and put a second window in. That doesn't do any good at all, and it usually doesn't do any good if you call your local window company and say, I already have one window. Can you put in a second window? There's a science to the noise reduction of that. And regular window companies are not acoustical engineers, and they don't know what they're doing. They know windows, but they don't know acoustical windows.
How did you get into acoustical windows?
Because I had the noise problem that I had. My father had been a manufacturer's representative for a storm window company back in the 60s. And so I knew how much quieter it could be if you added a second window. And I started doing more and more research and came up with a way to make a second window that was better than just a storm window. It uses laminated glass and amazingly good seals and stuff like that. And I started with that, and then as I started making a business out of it, I perfected better ways to do it over the years until I've gotten to the point I'm at now.
Randall, what do people do with their doors? Since you're not putting necessarily a window on a door, or are you?
In some cases, we can. We can put a glass panel over a glass. You may have a multi-paned or multi-glass divided window or door. We can put a glass panel over that, and that works fairly well. For sliding glass doors, we have another product that adds a second sliding glass door, and that works actually amazingly well. For regular opening swing doors, the most practical thing to do is to just add another storm door or glass door. In that sense, like you can get at Home Depot and order, because the doors you usually have are in fairly good shape, but they just need a little bit of help. And if you get a decent storm door that has pretty good seals, it'll usually provide you enough to handle that for most consumers.
You're located in Nevada, but how do you get people who can help people in many different states in the U.S.?
We ship all over the country, and we ship internationally as well. And we have installers and people that handle our product. So if you're in Ohio or New York or Florida or L.A., et cetera, that we can walk you through the process and get the windows. And probably 50% of our customers install the windows themselves. It's that easy to do.
Wow.
Yeah. And they work amazingly well. And people don't realize how much noise impacts their daily life. And it really does make a difference when our customers finally get the peace and quiet they're looking for.
What do you do regarding recording studios? I notice you have a section on your website, and that is a clear insulation-driven type of installation. What do you do that's different in that capacity?
Well, we hadn't been doing our windows for quite some time, and I kept having some of my performance musical inclined customers, and people say, "Why don't you do this for recording studios? We really need this." And so we did. We developed a line of studio windows and studio sliding glass doors, and now steel doors as well. And we stop more noise with our studio windows and doors than any other product on the market today. And it's really been well received in the recording industry and the radio and TV stations and music houses and some of the major recording studio designers in the